Hello everyone, welcome to Programming in C++ and Data Structures class. Today's topic is tokens, keywords and identifiers. Tokens. The smallest individual unit is called as a tokens. Basically, C++ programs are written using these tokens, white spaces and the syntax of the language, and some of the tokens are keywords, identifiers, constants, string, operators. Keywords. Keywords are the reserved words which cannot be used for other purposes because the keywords has its own functionalities or tasks which it has to be performed while mentioning it. So the user cannot use these keywords in any other form like declaring a variable or declaring it as a function name or anything like that. And here in this diagram, a set of keywords are mentioned here, and the keywords which are in the bold is also used in the C keywords, is also used in the C as a keywords, and the keywords which are not in bold are the new keywords which are introduced in the C++. Identifiers. Identifier refers to the name of the variables, functions, arrays, classes, etc. created by the programmers. So basically the elements of the C++ which has to be named by the programmers are called as an identifiers. To name an element in C++, there is set of rules that has to be followed, and the first rule is only alphabetic characters, digits and underscores are permitted. So it says that no special characters are permitted in the identifiers, which means hash, asterisk, ampersand symbol, at symbol are not at all permitted while naming an identifier. And the second rule is the name cannot start with digit, which means all the identifiers should start with the alphabet character, or it can also start with an underscore. And the third rule is uppercase and lowercase letters are distinct, which means let us say an variable name len, L-E-N. Sorry, my handwriting is not so good. And then another variable name len. When we see it, when we see this variable, the first variable is len and the second variable is also len. But these two variables are totally different variables because the letter L is a capital in the first variable and the letter L is small letter in the second variable. The uppercase is used in the first variable and the lowercase is used in the second variable. So the compiler of C++ considers these variables as two different variables but not the same. And the final rule of the identifiers are a declared keyword cannot be used as a variable name. As we studied earlier, a keyword cannot be used as a variable name. Constants. Constants refer to the fixed value that do not change during the execution of the program. Here they have specified a list of constant, and the first one is 123, which is a decimal integer, and 12.34 is a floating point because it has a precision here, and then 037, which is an octal integer, and 0x2 hexadecimal integer. C++ within double quotes, which means whatever within the double quotes means it comes under the string, and A which is within the single quotes, which means it is a character constant, and then white character constant here. And these are all the constant values which has to be assigned to a variable or constant variable. These are all the values of the constant value which has to be assigned to a variable or a constant variable. Okay, to declare a variable as a constant, we have to use a keyword which is called as const, C-O-N-S-T, const. To declare a variable as a constant, we have to use the keyword const. So to declare a variable as a constant, this is the syntax. We have to use the keyword const and then data type and then variable name, and we can assign a value to it. Here they have specified an example, const int size equal to 10, and then the size constant is used in the another variable char name of size. Here they declared an array, and then the size of the array is a constant. Basic data types. C++ data types are categorized into three: user-defined data type, built-in data type, derived data type. In user-defined data type, it has structures, unions, classes, enumeration. Structures and unions are similar to the C, and the new type is class, which is not in the C, and then enumeration is also in the C. And then the second type is built-in data type, and the built-in data type is again categorized into three types: integral part, void, floating type. The integral part has two types, which is an integer and then characters. And then in void it means a valueless entity is defined in this void type. Valueless entity. Basically, the void is used in only two scenarios. For return type of a function, when a function is not returning any kind of values, then void will be used. And in the function, when we are not going to pass any arguments or parameters within the function, then the void is sent as an argument. And then the next type is floating type, and it has two types, float and double. In the floating type, we have to give the precision. And then third type is derived data type, and the arrays, function, pointer, reference will comes under the derived data types. A set of basic data type is listed in this table, and the header specifies that type. In the type section, it says that data types, all kind of data types. Bytes represent the how much memory it takes or it allocates for this particular data type. And range specifies the range of the values that it can be that a particular data type can be allocated or assigned. And for the basic data type, some modifiers can be used to it, which are signed, unsigned, long, short. Signed and unsigned modifiers are used to specify that whether it can hold a positive and negative values to it. And long and short modifiers are used to expand the range of the values, whether it how much range of values that it can hold. Enumerated data type. Enumerated data type is an user-defined data type which provides a way for attaching names to numbers. The enum keyword automatically enumerates a list of words by assigning them values like 0, 1, 2 and so on. The facility provides an alternative means of creating symbolic constants. Here, in this example, a new enumerated data type is being created, which is named as shape. Enum shape. Here, the shape is a new type of enumerated data type, and the values of the shape type is circle, square, triangle, and the enum keyword helps to assign an index values to these values. So the shape of 0 is circle, shape of 1 is square, and shape of 2 is triangle. Okay, and then here we are defining a new value. We are giving a new value to the shape type. Here shape eclipse. So here we are giving a value to the shape type, and then this eclipse will be added here. So 0th value is circle, first value is square, second value is triangle, and the third value is eclipse. The values to the enum data type can be assigned in this way too. Here they are assigning the blue color to the background. So they have given the enum data type, the enum type color background equal to blue, and then they are giving another example color background equal to 7, but it will throw an error in the C++ because in enum data type the integer will not be converted into a value. So what we have to do is like this. In the third example, they have specified color background is equal to color of 7, which means the 7th value in the color is assigned to the background. Arrays. An array is a collection of elements of the same data type placed in contiguous memory location that can be individually referenced by using an index number to a unique identifier. So here are some examples of array. The first one is string cars of 4. Here string is the data type of the array and cars are the name of the array, and within the parenthesis square brackets a number is displayed 4. It is the 4 specifies the size of the array, and here an array is declared. It is just declared, and in the second example they have assigned the values to the particular array. As usual, string cars of 4, which means string is the data type, cars is the name of the array, and 4 specifies the size of the array. So the size of the array is 4, so we can assign only 4 values to the array, and then equal to we have to open the curly braces, and then since our array is in string, we have to use the double quotes for each and every values. So the first value is Volvo, second value is BMW, third value is Ford, and then fourth value is Mazda. So the index value will be assigned from 0. So the index value of Volvo is 0, and BMW is 1, Ford is 2, and then Mazda is 3. And then we have another example, int mynum of 3. Here the data type is integer, the array name is mynum, and the size of the array is 3, and they have given the assigned the values integer values, because since it is an integer array, we are going to assign integer values to it, 10, 20, 30. It doesn't have any double quotes because it's not an string, it is just an integer. We need not to specify any double quotes here. And then most of the applications of array in C++ is similar to C. The only exception is the way we initialize the character arrays. Here there is an example. The first example is char string 3 equal to xyz within the double quotes. Char is the data type and string is the array name, and then 3 is the size of the array, and the size of the array is 3 as we have specified, and the value which is assigned to this character is also 3, x, y and z, right? We might think that it's right only, but it is only accepted in C. When it comes to C++, it might throw a warning or an error to the programmer, because for the string or character arrays, the last value should have an null array, sorry, null string, which means basically so when we are storing a value like x, y and then z in the memory, it will also, the string will always ends with a null string, which means this specifies it is a white space character, and which means this specifies that it is the end of the string. In C, the null character, the null string character is automatically defined by the compiler, but in C++ we have to define it. We have to give the extra space or extra size to the character. So this is not acceptable in C++, and this is acceptable in C++, because here they have specified the data type char and the array name is string with the size of 4, but while assigning the value, the size of the string is xyz, which is, it has only 3 in size, and we are leaving a space for the null string. Variables are containers for storing data values. To declare the variables, we have to follow the syntax type variable equal to value. Here type means data type. Which kind of variable we are going to declare? We have to specify that, whether it can be integer, float, double, string, character, whatever it might be. The type, the data type, we have to mention it while declaring. And then variable. Variable is nothing but here a variable name, a suitable name for the variable, equal to value. Value is the value which we are going to assign to that particular variable has to be specified here along with semicolon. Semicolon states that it is the end of this particular statement. And here a list of examples are listed, and the first example is int mynum equal to 5. Here they assigned an integer variable with the value 5. Int is the data type, mynum is the variable name, and the value assigned to the mynum is 5. Likewise, double my float number equal to 5.99, and then they defined another variable character char my letter equal to within the single quotes d, and then string my text equal to hello within the double quotes. The string has to be specified in the double quotes and the character has to be specified in the single quotes. And then the last one is bool my boolean equal to true. Bool is nothing but a boolean data type. It can hold value either true or false, or 0 or 1. 0 represents the false, 1 represents the true. And let's see what happens in the background when we assign a value to a variable. Let's take the first example, int mynum equal to 5. So what happens in the background, in the memory? So when we create a variable integer, it allocates a memory location of 2 bytes because the integer type will hold 2 bytes of memory location. So the memory has a 2 bytes and then the value 5 will be stored in that memory location. And the variable, so the name of this particular location is mynum. It's very difficult to write here using the mouse pad, so please understand it. Mynum is the name of this particular memory location or the identifier, and every memory location has a address, specific address. Let's say the address of this memory location is 1050, let's say like that. Okay, whenever we are creating a variable, a specific memory is allocated to that variable, and the value of the variable will be stored inside the memory location, and each memory location will have its own address. Since a human cannot remember all the addresses, we will have the name for the address, which is called as a variable name. Here our value 5 is saved in the memory location 1050 and it is named as a mynum. Okay, it is like for all of our houses we have an address, right? Like that, for each and every memory location in the computer address, there will be an address. Pointers. Pointers is a variable in C++ that holds the address of another variable. In the previous slide, we learned that variables are the containers that are used to store the data values, right? But the pointers, here the pointers are used to store the address of the variable. Okay, let us learn it clearly using this example. Okay, so the first statement they have said that int *IP. Here it means that they are declaring an integer pointer. If we are saying if a variable, if you are going to declare any variable, we will say that int a, int mynum, like that, right? If an asterisk is specified in a declaration statement, then we can say that it is a pointer declaration, not just a variable declaration, it is a pointer declaration. Here they have specified it clearly, int *IP, which means it is an pointer declaration. They are declaring an integer pointer. Okay, so what happens when we declare an integer pointer? So a memory will be created for the IP. Okay, this is IP's memory location. IP's memory location, and it should have an address, right? So let's say 1085, let's say like that. Okay, here we just declared an pointer and we are not assigning any values here, so a memory location is just created for the pointer. Okay, and the memory location is named as an IP, and the memory location has an address which is a 1085. So the first statement is over, and the second statement is IP equal to ampersand x. Ampersand is nothing but we can state it as the address of x. Okay, so some x is some kind of variable here, and the address of the x variable is assigned to the IP, right? We have somewhere in the memory we have an variable named as x, and its memory is 2010. Let's say, okay, somewhere in the memory location we have a variable named as x, and its address is 2010. So in this line, in this statement, they are assigning the address of x to the IP. What is the address of x here? 2010 is the address of x. So 2010 will be stored in the IP. 2010 will be stored in the IP. So the second statement is also executed, and in the third statement they are saying asterisk IP equal to 10, which means they are assigning indirectly, they are assigning the value 10 to the variable x. Here also they have stated that 10 assigned to x through indirection, right? So what happens here is it will go and check the IP. Star IP means pointer IP. So in the pointer IP it holds the value 2010, right? It holds the value 2010. So since it is a pointer, the compiler will know that the 2010 is the memory location, not the value. Since it is a pointer, we know that it is a memory location, because a pointer can hold only the address, memory location, not a value. So what happens is the control will be redirected to the this particular memory 2010. It will go and check the 2010, and then the value 10 will be assigned to this memory location 2010. So instead of assigning int x equal to 10, they are assigning it indirectly through a pointer. Thank you. This is Valarmati signing off.